Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. It has been a hot minute since I have sat down and recorded a podcast episode, and I feel a little out of practice, to be honest. But I'm excited to jump back in. I'm excited for the things that I have planned for the podcast for 2025. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. I plan to bring in some guests, which I have never done before, but I'm very excited about. And then I also, of course, plan to continue to have short solo episodes where I give you actionable tips that you can take away from the episode and kind of run with. So, first, I thought I could give you a few life updates, few things that have been going on because I think the last episode that I recorded was Cade's birth story. And the day-ish after this episode releases, he's going to be 5 months old, which is honestly just so crazy to think about because time is flying. And I know that people with kids get that, but it seems like with every new kiddo that we have, time goes a little bit faster. I guess it's because there's just like so much going on in my house with four kids all the time that I just feel like it's just flying by. We are, obviously the cliche thing to say, like we're really enjoying our time together as a family. The kids have well, two of my kids have just had birthdays, so like everybody's kind of entering new stages, I guess. Um, Anthony is going to be 8 in February. Kinley just turned 5. Hollis just turned 3. And then, of course, Cade's 5 months. So they're very active. They question everything. They keep us on our toes. And we're dealing with a lot of big emotions and little kids that can't regulate their emotions. And sometimes that's super challenging and super frustrating. The day after I'm recording this, like last night, was a hard parenting afternoon and night. The kids were just like having complete meltdowns over literally nothing. And it's so hard sometimes to keep yourself regulated while you're trying to teach them how to appropriately like respond and regulate their own emotions. I know I'm not alone in that. I know I'm not alone in that. What other updates can I tell you? I'm like back to work. I'm back to the business. I'm very excited about it. I'll share the business stuff in a minute. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that pretty well catches you up. Like you didn't miss out on a whole lot. Just, we got through the holidays. Those were super fun this year with the ages that the kids are. We loved it and it was so fun. So I'm going to dive on into today's actual topic because I am currently doing this whole like cluster pumping thing because my supply has been a little wonky. So I've got like 17 minutes left on this timer before I have to start my pump back up. And I feel like the sound of my pump in the background, because I'm using my Spectra to do this, would be super annoying. So I'm going to get this episode finished before that timer goes off or right about the time that it does. What we're going to talk about today. This week, this for you guys, this past week, because I'm recording this like the day after, um, I hosted a webinar. It's called, or really a webinar, you can call it whatever you want to call it. A webinar, a live training, a class, I don't know. I like to call it a live training. Sometimes I refer to it as a webinar, like whatever. I hosted this thing, okay? It's called From Tired to Thriving, and it's specifically for postpartum moms. And that doesn't mean postpartum as in like those 6 weeks after you have the baby until you go back to the doctor and you get the all clear. No, I'm talking like your postpartum in the sense that you're like 4 to 5-ish years out or less from having your first baby. For many of you guys that are in your audience, you're like me. You've had back-to-back pregnancies, back-to-back breastfeeding journeys, and you feel like you've been postpartum for the majority of your life lately and still feel like you're trying to recover from that and like regain your energy back to what you would consider to be your normal levels and get back to a place where you can really like feel like yourself. That is something that I feel like I have gotten better with each pregnancy. And it's something that I work with almost all of my clients on. So in the webinar, I talked about three myths that kind of help keep us stuck in this pattern of thought that we shouldn't feel energized and feel good when we're a mom and we're postpartum and we're like juggling all of these things. So, first, I want to share what those three myths were, and then I'm going to talk about each of them a little bit. So, first up, we've got that it's normal and expected almost to be tired as a mom. It's like, people want you to think that it's just like part of the package and there's really nothing you can do about it. The second thing was that losing the baby weight will help with your energy and is really kind of like this magical solution to you feeling energized and feeling like yourself again. And then lastly, um, this thought and this belief that fatigue and low energy in the postpartum period and the years that follow is really just linked back to the sleep deprivation that you experience because newborns don't sleep through the night. And honestly, sometimes even toddlers don't sleep through the night. When we buy into these beliefs, which is really common because that's like, I feel like these are like some of the most common things that you hear about and people tell you either when they know you're like getting ready to start having children and entering that season of your life, or when they find out you're pregnant and they're kind of sharing their experience and they're sharing what you can expect. It's like, it's one of the like first things that people tell you. It's like, well, you're going to love it, but you're going to be really tired. You're going to be really worn out. Those kids have so much energy. Like, enjoy your free time now. Enjoy, feeling good now because blah, blah, blah. And I am not here to say that there is not some tiredness and low energy moments or even days here and there that comes with being a parent, specifically a mom, when you're like doing all the things for your kids. That is definitely true. But the low energy and fatigue that I'm referring to is like consistently you just don't feel well. Like you're still probably like able to get through your day. You're doing all the things that you quote have to do, but you're just left feeling like really wiped out and tired and like you don't want to do anything extra. Okay. It's probably why you don't want to work out and you haven't, like maybe you've tried to get back into working out, but you're just not consistent with it. Well, it's probably because you're kind of like tired all the time and you don't feel like it. Um, it might be it's part of like, your kiddos asking you like, "Mommy, come play Barbies with me. Come in my room and do makeup with me. Come play with the Ninja Turtles with me." And you're like, "Oh, I would really rather just sit here on the couch and do nothing. Like I don't want to get up." Um, it's that type of low energy and fatigue. And again, it's something that is so common that it's also been so normalized. And what I'm here to say is that it doesn't have to be that way. You can support your body and find ways to where you truly can feel energized on a regular basis. And again, not that you're not going to have some days or times where you feel tired, but for the most part, you feel pretty dang good. Day in and day out in your body, you have extra energy to like do things that you enjoy, to not say no every time your kids ask to play with you, or you with them rather. You have energy and the want and the desire to like make plans outside of the things that you literally have to do. So, some of the ways that we tackle this, first of all, is we've got to let go of those beliefs because there are so many more things at play than sleep deprivation and thinking that this is just a normal part of being a mom and the thought that, oh, the problem is I haven't lost the baby weight yet. Like we've got to let go of those things and move past them and get into a mindset of I want to dig into what is really going on here and what's really going to help me long term. Um, so the things that I taught inside the webinar and talked about that, I wanted people to be able to walk away with as kind of actionable items is number one, you need to make sure that you are fueling yourself properly. When you're postpartum, and this is again not just the immediate 6 weeks. This is, it takes a long time for our body to recover from that. If you think about it, it took us 9 months to grow a human. It's going to take a long time after that to recoup and replenish from that. So we need to make sure that we're fueling ourselves with enough calories. And there is some like, is it the right type of calories in there once we hit a certain point? But fueling yourself properly. Then you also, if you're not going to be surprised to hear this, if you've been hanging out with me for a while, but we've got to get your minerals replenished. Pregnancy, on average, women lose about 10% of their like vitamins and minerals during pregnancy. We give them, to the baby. And depending on the diet that you consume and where your food is being sourced from and stuff, it's really hard to replenish that if you're not intentionally thinking about it and working towards it. And then the other thing is that we need to support our body to be in a state of, I hesitate to say blood sugar balance because I think that leads people to believe that their blood sugar should be like steadily the same level all day, and that's not a realistic expectation. But you want to avoid blood sugar dysregulation is maybe a better way to say it. You want to be putting together your meals and consuming them in a way that supports a healthy blood sugar balance, because when we have these steep spikes and crashes in our blood sugar, it sends our body into just like complete mayhem. Like it affects your energy levels. It causes you to have more sugar cravings and more carbohydrate cravings. And then you're kind of just like, you get these cravings that you can't ignore, and you're making decisions that, for like food choices and stuff that you might not would have made before. And it just kind of gets into this like slippery slope cycle. So I introduced at the end of the webinar what I have put together for people that would like help with this. If you're like, yeah, Vanda, that all sounds great, but I don't really know how to do that. I don't know how to put that into action into my life with all these other things that I've already got going on. I am launching a group coaching program that's called Mama's Power Up. I'm very excited about it. I have taken the exact strategies that I have used with myself for now these 3 back-to-back pregnancies and breastfeeding journeys, as well as nearly all of my clients that, also have kids or have had kiddos in the past several years, to help them get back to a place of having energy and feeling like themselves. And I have put that into a 4-week program that I am going to walk right alongside of you, lead you on the way, and help you also get to that point of feeling energized, feeling like yourself, and getting to a place where you can like actually fully embrace and enjoy motherhood instead of just kind of feeling like you're barely hanging on and you're doing enough to get by. You know what I mean? So, the details, I should tell you the details. You are able to enroll in Mama's Power Up now through January 17th. And since this is the very first group that I'm taking through in this specific container, I am offering very special pricing. So I will put a link in the show notes for the sales page where you can like go and read all about it and see the pricing. But I did, I made it very affordable. And I'm very excited about everything that's like packaged together. You're getting education, you're getting coaching, you're getting a support group, you're getting recipes. And then, you're going to be able to give me your feedback on how the program goes and like what other things might be helpful to you, and I can tweak things as we go along because we're going to work very, closely together for these 4 weeks. That being said, I don't want to give the impression that this is something that's going to take like a ton of your time. Um, I am a mom of 4 kids, working a full-time job and running a business. I don't have time for this to take a long period of time every single week. And neither do you. It's a great thing about working with me because I totally get it. Like, I get the time constraints, I get all the things that you have going on in your life. So I create the program and I present the program in a way that works with that limited amount of time you have on your hands, and it can realistically be incorporated into a busy life like that because that's what I'm living, breathing, and doing on a daily basis. So one thing that I want to, again, like that link to read all about that is going to be in the show notes, and you have until January 17th to get signed up. So don't wait because there's just, by the time this episode comes out, there's only going to be a few days left. And I would love to have you in there. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can do that on Instagram at Wellness with Vanda, or through my email, which is also, I think, linked in the show notes. I'll make sure that it's there. Normally, we had been doing like mindset mindset. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to like click because I've lost what I had written for this. That's I'm going. Let me just find it first, and then I'll talk. Okay. So instead of doing a mindset like minute question, this kind of still fits. I have some questions for you to ponder over the next little bit. I want you to think about how your current energy levels really are. Like, I want you to get really honest with yourself, and I want you to think about whether or not you feel like you're at a place that you would like to be at. Like, are your energy levels and the way you feel overall how you would really like to feel? Then I want you to ask yourself if you're going to continue, if the answer is no, like if you're not where you want to be, are you going to continue to let that dictate your life and how you feel on a daily basis, and ultimately how you show up for yourself and for your family? And then the last question that I want you to ask yourself is, can you and are you ready to commit to fueling your body, replenishing your minerals, and really digging in and learning what that lasting solution is going to be so that you can have more energy and feel better nearly every day and show up as your best self for not only yourself, but for your kids and your husband, if you have one, or your partner, um, or whatever that might look like for you and your family. If you are ready, then this is the perfect opportunity to get enrolled in Mama's Power Up and have my support and the support and camaraderie of other women that are also doing this very same thing. Because you may not have women in your real life, in your in-person life, that are on this same journey with you right now, specifically with those same goals. But virtually, we can have that and we can come together. And the community aspect of things is, I think, going to be really powerful with this group because postpartum in itself can be a lonely time. Motherhood can be a lonely time, especially when you do have these kids that are younger and they do demand so much of you. And you may or may not have friends in real life that are in that same stage with you. These women will be. I am. I will be there 100%. So again, that is going to be linked in the show notes. I'm so proud of myself because I have like 51 seconds before this timer goes off. So I got done right on time. I'm going to leave you with that for today. I'll be back next week with a new episode, and I'll see you then.